Hi guys, Tom Morrison here, and I want to answer that age-old question, how long does it take to get flexible? If you're very inflexible like I used to be, I really understand that it can be very demotivating and just not fun whenever you can't see any visible progress no matter how much your work you're putting in, and you probably think you're doing all the right things and you're just not getting anywhere. Trying to answer how long does it take to get flexible is like the old, how long is a piece of string thing, but I understand that is not very helpful and that is not why you're watching this video, so I want to give you the 3 main things that can happen on your flexibility journey. Number 1, you'll make gains really quickly and you'll always see progress no matter what you do. We don't like those people. Those people are annoying. Number 2, you'll have a burst of initial progress and you'll be like, woohoo! And then you'll get stuck a little bit. But then you'll get another wee bit of progress and then you'll get stuck again. But then you'll get another wee bit of progress. Or you'll be like I was in number 3. You'll see nothing for ages. Nothing. And then a little bit. And then nothing. And then a little bit. And then nothing. But then a little bit. The main factors that decide basically what category you are going to fall into is going to be your background, and that goes for any type of training, whatever. It doesn't matter, just flexibility, any type of strength training, anything like that. Your entire training history and the things you've ever done are going to have an influence on how your body adapts. So the people that generally make quick gains with their flexibility are going to have a few odds stacked in their favor. They probably were quite athletic when they were younger and they always enjoyed playing sports and they moved quite a lot, so they did have the mobility at one point and they've just lost it over time just through inactivity and stuff. Or maybe, like I said, they're still younger, so it's not going to be that hard for them to reclaim their youth of flexibility. But we'll cover that more in a second actually, because some people are just born not flexible at all. So they probably have, anyway, good motor skills, they pick things up quite quickly, and they're the people that are generally going to make the fastest progress, and they're going to be like, whoop-de-doo, I worked in this for 5 minutes, and they feel absolutely awesome. Again, we don't like these people. Well, we do like them, but I'm insanely jealous of them because it took me a lot more effort. The second person who gets the little bursts and then gets stuck and gets the little bursts is probably someone that is still relatively active and they have just maybe specialized in a sport, say for example just powerlifting, where they're just lifting heavy things all the time and their body's just got crazy strong in one or in a couple of certain positions, and the more, much more bendness that they want to have, it's just harder for them to get because it's completely new to their body. The hardest thing to accept there is because you're good at one thing doesn't mean you're naturally going to be able to go straight away, I'm going to get good at this now. Just because you're good at that one thing, it doesn't carry over to something that would be completely different. So if you're crazy strong at a deadlift and you want to then all of a sudden get really flexible and start doing, back bendy type things or, weird yoga style movements, it's going to be harder for you because your body's like, no, this is what I feel is strong. That's weird. So it's going to be a little bit harder. So you're still going to make the adaptations and you're still going to have a little bit of carryover, but your body's just really strong in one kind of way and you're trying to take it the other way. So it's nice to have that balance of both strength and flexibility. It's very important for your longevity as a person, not just someone that enjoys lifting heavy things, that you do keep both in mind. And finally, if you're someone like I was that had zero interest in sports whenever they were younger and were more interested in drinking alcohol and smoking cigarettes, then you are probably going to find getting flexibility at a later age in your training career a lot harder because it is 100% completely brand new to your body and you don't have any reference points at all built into your system of how to get better at something. And the worst thing that I found for me when I was trying to get flexible was that I kept getting hurt. Whenever I was training, I would get hurt. Whenever I tried to stretch, I would get hurt. Things would just hurt all of the time, and I felt like anything I did was going to make my body worse. And it was almost to a point for me that I was like, well, I'm just not going to do anything anymore. And that's not really a good attitude to have, because if you think about that in 10 years, 20 years time, where is that going to lead you if you just decide to stop doing anything in case you hurt yourself? You're going to be a lot more weak, you're going to have a lot more problems, you're going to be a lot stiffer, and it's just not a good idea to go. It's just not a good path. So what we want to be thinking about is, taking that acceptance that it is completely brand new to us and it's going to take time. So rather than trying to think about, how flexible you can get in a week or 2 weeks, or start thinking like 6 months to a year, the difference you can actually make, because like I said, it's something that's brand new to you. And whenever you look at someone that is, say, good at any certain sport and stuff, and you see how they can perform and how they move and stuff, you don't see the 10, maybe 15 years of training that they have on. Even like if they're only 20, they probably started when they were 5. I didn't take any interest in doing anything until I was in my mid-20s. And then it took a few years on top of that to then start racking up all of these problems. And then I started going, okay, maybe I've missed something. And then I made about 600 more mistakes. And then I started to kind of find something that worked a little bit. And then with the people that I work with now, you see across the board, it's like all of the little patterns. Now everyone's different, everyone reacts different to different things, but there is a few patterns that if you can really hone in on, you can make a ton of progress quite quickly. Again, I'm still talking that 6 months to a year, but rather than doing something really intensely for 2 weeks and then going, it's not working and just stopping altogether, those periods of 2 weeks are just completely wasted. So it's about consistency and just gradually making an improvement over a long period of time that is going to be the best thing for you. The weird thing is, how flexible is flexible? What does it take to get flong and flexible? It really depends on your goals. There is different levels of flexibility, and some of them are a lot easier to get than others, and here are the 3 types. Number 1, none. Like not even a wee bit. None flexible whatsoever. Level 0 of non-flexible. That is not where you want to be. That is just a recipe for aches, pains and niggles, and just anytime you do get a little burst of motivation to say maybe start training, you're going to get hurt because you just have 0 movement quality whatsoever. So you want to get away from that level as quick as possible. Number 2, the baseline level. So being able to just do squats, running, lift things, the simpler stuff. Nothing fancy, just normal type of training that everyone enjoys, the most effective stuff to lose weight and feel strong, do all those things. Baseline level of flexibility so that you're able to hinge from the hips and not have to round your back when you're picking heavy things up, so you're actually able to access the bigger muscles in the right ways. Baseline level is the place that everyone wants to get to as fast as possible and maintain throughout your life as well. Number 3, advanced flexibility. So this is the stuff that everybody starts to see. It's like, I want to get flexible. Okay, here's the splits. That's advanced flexibility. It is not essential. It is not essential for someone to be able to do flexibility. And just because someone can't do the splits, the front splits or the middle splits, whatever splits you want to make, banana splits, even if you cannot do those things, it doesn't mean you have bad flexibility. It means you don't have advanced flexibility. And there's a big emphasis on that advanced flexibility. If you have no interest in doing the splits, you don't need them. There's no reason to be putting yourself through the intense amount of stretching or time that you'll need to do to achieve that skill. Getting the baseline is much simpler. If you do want the advanced flexibility though, you need to make sure you have the baseline first. You can't go from none to advanced. That's the problem that most people run into. Right? We'll do it this way instead. So you've got your baseline, or if you've 0 here, you've got, baseline, and then you've got your advanced. Some people just try to go whoop, right up to the top, and they completely miss out that middle bit where you have the baseline stability, the baseline level of flexibility. If you start overstretching things whenever you have 0 flexibility and don't have any stability there, you're going to run into the same problems as you would of having no flexibility. You're going to lose stability in joints and you're going to be in a lot of pain. So advanced flexibility is something that takes a lot more effort and a lot more education with as well, actually. So the baseline stuff, very easy to attain, very easy to get, very easy to stick to, very easy to maintain as well. But the advanced stuff, it takes work to develop, it takes work to achieve, it takes work to maintain as well. So if you, even for myself, for example, if I do not regularly do open upper back stretches to keep my bridge, it will regress very, very quickly. It won't regress to, me having bad shoulder mobility by any means, but I will lose that skill, that ability to bridge quite quickly compared to just overall general good movement and good mobility. So it doesn't hinder me from doing anything, but I do lose that skill if I don't keep on top of it. So again, not essential. So you gotta make sure that you have the essential level of flexibility before starting to chase the advanced flexibility. So here's some advice for you sexy, non-flexible people like I was that is going to help keep you motivated so that you actually make progress over the long term. So, number 1, Don't overwhelm yourself with hundreds of thousands and millions of different movements. You're going to get bored very quickly, you're not going to know where you're at, and it's going to be hard to make a difference with anything if you're doing so many different things. You want to keep it simple. So in the simplistic mobility method, we give you a bunch of different tests that you want to work on, but the main ones that you want to be thinking about is your overhead reach and your toe touch and your squat. So those three things you're going to be able to track to see can you actually make an improvement on over time, and anything that you do outside of those movements is to improve those movements, and that is how you're going to be able to track your progress through actually seeing what it looks like at one point and then seeing have you made a difference. Which brings me nicely into point number 2. Make sure to film yourself, take videos, take pictures. I don't care if you don't have your clothes on, just have a reference point, see where you're at and see what you can actually change over time. So it can be very disheartening because you are with you all of the time and you don't really notice the difference. So take notes as well. So take pictures, take notes, everything that you notice, say, this shoulder's here, that shoulder's there, I'm about 6 inches away from touching my toes, all those little things, and have the pictures to go along with them so that you're able to refer back to them. So if you're doing something for a few months and then you retake the pictures, you'll see a difference, and that's going to motivate you to keep on going as well. So make sure you record and take notes for everything. Point number 3. I think I said in point 2 about being disheartened. Don't. There you go. Just don't get disheartened about your progress. It's going to take time either way, and being consistent is going to be the best thing you can do, okay? So if you're not seeing really, really quick results, you've got to stick with being consistent, because if you go really hard at it for a while and then go, don't bother, you bring yourself right back down to here again. At least if you're just making slow, consistent progress, you will keep on going up. Even if you feel you're getting stuck for a while, it's going to be, you're going to be closer to your next little jump if you keep doing the things that you're doing, rather than just stopping everything altogether and deciding you need a whole bunch of new hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of other different movements, and start chasing things. It's the worst thing you can possibly do. Your mobility, your movement, your, everything you do with your body is a long-term thing. You got to think about lifelong. You're going to be wanting to move better all the time. You're going to be wanting to improve how your body feels. You want to improve your body awareness. This is a lifelong venture. It's not just something, you don't just tick the box, I'm flexible now and it lasts forever. It's something you're going to want to be doing for a long, long, long time to always keep your quality of life, and just so that you feel better in general, so you're not banged up all the time. If you have moved in a certain way for 10, 20, 30, 40 years maybe, it's going to take a while to change. So keep that in mind. That's your reference point. A year is not that long if you're thinking that you've moved a certain way for 20 years. You gotta think about these things. So again, don't overwhelm yourself. Film and track absolutely everything that you do, and don't get disheartened. If you want to have help along your journey and don't know where to get started at all, please head over to our website and check out the Simplistic Mobility Method. It is everything laid out in an easy to follow, structured way to acquire that baseline flexibility. I hope you find this video helpful. Please leave us some comments or anything that you would like to see from us in the future, and have an awesome day. So, welcome to the news! Have you been stretching? Have you been doing your business? Well, if you have not, then you are in trouble. Yes, that's right, Jenny. You are in big trouble for not doing your stretches.